When you first watch The Matrix Reloaded, it is pretty bloody confusing, especially the ending with the architect. However, upon second viewing, third viewing, you get the idea of what's going on. There have been several versions of The Matrix before the one that the films are about. Pretty simple concept, yeah? Kind of. It gets a bit muddied when you think of Agent Smith. Was there a previous Agent Smith in the previous versions of The Matrix? And if there was, did he turn into a virus, just like he's doing in this version of The Matrix? So let's deep dive into this concept and see whether there was a Smith virus in the previous versions of The Matrix. So we've got one theory saying, yes, there was a Smith virus in the previous versions of The Matrix, and that's because of things like, the Oracle says that the equation needs to balance, so therefore Neo needed the Smith virus to exist. The theory against there being a Smith virus in the previous versions of The Matrix is that this time it's different. That's the whole point in the films, is this version, this iteration of The Matrix, number 6, is different. This is the one where Neo chose love instead of the human race. This is the one where there was a Smith virus instead of the Smith agent. So what's the first point in this debate? Balancing out the equation. This is based on very much the Oracle saying, he's your opposite in The Matrix Revolutions. Remember, everything about The Matrix as an invention, as a thing that the machines invented, is based on maths. It's based on computer science and coding, and everything being perfectly balanced. So if they deliberately create a all-powerful human in Neo, then surely they need to create some crazy other, agent virus to combat him, right? Not exactly. See, this is where we get a bit muddied. This is where we go into the theories of why there wasn't a Smith virus in the previous versions of The Matrix. See, clue number 1 is in The Matrix number 1. Smith, Agent Smith, this is before he became a virus, before he became an exile, so Agent Smith has that conversation with Morpheus. Morpheus is tied up, he's been kidnapped, and Smith is going on about how there was an older version of The Matrix. He's saying, it was meant to be a paradise where no humans suffered and all this stuff. So what does that tell you? Smith has been around for ages. He has been around since that first version of The Matrix, since the Paradise version. Another point about Smith's memory that really adds clout to the theory that there was no Smith virus in the previous versions is this conversation that he has with himself in The Matrix Reloaded. When we first see Smith, it's when he stumbles upon a fight that had just happened between Neo and some agents. Smith looks around, walks up, and we see another Smith walk up to him. He has this conversation. That went as expected. Yes. It's happening exactly as before. Well, not exactly. So let's break that down. When Smith says, that went as expected, he is talking about the agents lying there dead. He's saying that went as expected because he has seen that exact same scene countless times before. I mean, there's been 6 versions of The Matrix, and many times when the one has managed to beat agents. So God knows how many times that Smith has actually seen this. He's basically saying that in the past, in the other versions of The Matrix, it was him lying on the ground. It was him who just got beat by the one. Not this time. When Smith says it, as in it's happening exactly before, the it refers to the entire growth of the one, the entire development of Neo as the one anomaly. Now, some people might say that the it's happening in the it's happening exactly as before sentence is referring to the fight in the hotel when Smith was killed. Now, that doesn't make sense either. Because if Smith was referring to that, it would take place right after he got killed. Why would he wait so long and then say, that happened just as before? No. He's referring to what's right in front of him. Also, another point is that when Neo first punched the agents, he says, upgrades. Therefore, he has learnt that he can no longer just delete them in the same way that he deleted Agent Smith. Remember, Neo gains all the skills as he goes. So at the end of The Matrix 1, he gained the skill to be able to kill agents, to be able to delete agents. So obviously, whenever he encounters an agent from now on, he's going to try and delete them, just like he deleted Agent Smith. But he can't, because he punches them in the face and goes, upgrades. So suddenly these agents have an extra layer of defense. So therefore, that fight didn't go anything like before, because Neo wasn't able to destroy them from the inside, so Smith couldn't have been referring to that. Then he says, not exactly. What he's saying there is that for the first time ever, he is the one who's not getting his ass kicked. He is the one who's standing there looking down at the dead agents. He's saying that Neo's development is happening exactly as before, except this time there's something different. He's saying this time, I can bloody copy myself and I'm going to defeat Neo. Next is the conversation with the architect. So this is further evidence that there was not a Smith virus in the previous versions of The Matrix. All of the things that the architect describes that were flaws in the Matrix when they were building it in the past are things based on humans. Nothing to do with machines. The architect is way too arrogant to say that. The architect believes that machines and robots and computers are perfect. They are the inheritors of planet Earth. And if humans would just hurry up and sleep and just never bother them again, the architect would be happy. Specifically some lines like, "As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations." And then Neo answers, "The problem is choice." What's happening here is Architect is claiming that the problem with their perfect mathematical equations is that stupid bloody humans have to make choices every 5 seconds. See, this is what the Architect hates about humanity, is their irrationality, is their habit of choosing things that make no bloody sense. So he's saying that what caused the Matrix to crash every time for the past 5 iterations is not machines, it's human choice. The architect also says, "The first Matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime, a triumph equalled only by its monumental failure. The inevitability of its doom is apparent to me now, as a consequence of the imperfection inherent in every human being." So you might think to yourself, did Smith cause that first crash in those betas, the Paradise Matrix and the Nightmare Matrix? No, the architect's just saying it was humans. It wasn't Smith, it wasn't some crazy Smith virus that broke the first Matrixes, it was humans. Further evidence here is when the architect says, "The Oracle stumbled upon a solution whereby 99% of all test subjects accepted the program, as long as they were given a choice, even if they were only aware of the choice at a near unconscious level. While this answer functioned, it was obviously fundamentally flawed, thus creating the otherwise contradictory systemic anomaly, that, if left unchecked, might threaten the system itself." So here you might think to yourself that the systemic anomaly he's referring to is Smith. No, it's not. He's referring to Neo. He's referring to the culmination of every single rejection, every single strange little choice that humans have ever made gets pumped into Neo. That is the systemic anomaly that the architect is referring to. And this is why he mentions the Oracle and her choice model, is in that quote, it's the Oracle's choice model for humans that stopped the systemic anomaly from destroying the Matrix, which is nothing to do with Smith. The architect also says, "Ergo, those that refused the program while a minority, if unchecked, would constitute an escalating probability of disaster." Neo says, "This is about Zion." So there we go. It is nothing to do with Smith. The architect is saying that it's humans gradually rejecting the Matrix, every day, every month, every week, and forming a bigger, more dangerous Zion underground. It's what's threatening the machines and the Matrix. It's nothing to do with Agent Smith at all. It's nothing to do with Smith becoming a virus, nothing like that. So no, in conclusion, the Smith virus was only created for this iteration of the Matrix, specifically because in this iteration of the Matrix, the Oracle was trying to get a truce between the machines and humans by creating a threat so big that the machines had no choice but to work with Neo. Thank you for watching that, everybody. If it was a help to you and you really liked learning about the Matrix lore, then please subscribe to Jam Punch and I'll be releasing a brand new Matrix Explained video every single week. My name is George, this is Jam Punch, and I'll see you next time.